Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen. Now this is May 2020 and the Queen has canceled all of her summer garden parties. So for those of you who are planning to visit Buckingham Palace or Westminster or Sandringham this summer for a nice garden party with the Queen, not going to happen. But the palace has been nice enough to release the recipe for the scones that they serve in the garden. So that's what we're going to make today. So into this mixer, I have put flour and sugar. Next in is some baking powder and some well-chilled butter. And I'm just going to pulse this together. And you don't want to take it too far. You just want to get it to the point where the butter is broken up into really tiny little bits, maybe about the size of a pea or smaller. And of course, you could do this in a bowl with your fingers and just rub it together, go old school. I find this way kind of works better for me. I find it's faster and the butter doesn't melt. So now we need buttermilk. Oh, this is pretty thick. That buttermilk was pretty thick, well fermented. Now into the buttermilk, I'm going to crack and then whisk in 2 eggs. And now the buttermilk gets mixed into the flour mixture. The recipe gives an optional ingredient at this point, and that is sultana raisins that have been soaked in hot water and then drained. I had a couple kinds of raisins today, but I didn't have sultanas, so I chose to use these currants. So I'm going to put those in. They've been soaked in hot water and then drained, so I just want to mix those in at the same time to make sure they're distributed evenly. And we mix this until we get a dough. Now, once I've got a dough ball, I'm supposed to put it out onto the counter, flatten into a disc, cover, and then let it rest for half an hour. Because I need to let it rest for half an hour, I'm going to put it onto this baking tray instead so that I can move it out of the way in the kitchen. So I'll just flatten it out into a disc, or as disc-like as I can get. Doesn't say how thick it needs to be. And I'm wondering if I should have put down flour first. I guess we'll find out in the next step. Okay, half an hour. Not much has changed visibly. They look pretty much exactly the same. Now, the dough has, though, gotten a little bit stickier as the flour hydrates over this time period. It does get stickier. So it went from a dough that almost didn't come together to something that is now really, really nice. So I am going to put a little bit of flour on the countertop. This is just so it doesn't stick to the bench, and then we'll transfer over and roll it out. You want to be about 1 inch thick. Then it says to cut into desired shapes. I've never been to a garden party with the Queen, so I don't know what to use, but I'm just going to choose this fluted cookie cutter, and we'll cut some out. After they're cut, I transfer them to a baking sheet where we cover them and let them go another 20 minutes. Now, the last step before baking is to brush the tops gently with an egg wash. So I've got a beaten egg here and a brush, and we'll just gently put that on. The oven is preheated at this point to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and they bake for 12 to 15 minutes.
Hello, Glen. Hello, friends. I see we have some afternoon snacks.
The Queen's scones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How nice of her to
From her,
to share that.
she's not having garden parties this summer, so.
So she's got some extra scones.
Well, she gave away the recipe.
What?
So,
No clotted cream? You couldn't find clotted cream in
COVID?
In COVID?
Yeah. I don't think in the best of times here, in our regular grocery store. I mean, there's always specialty stores that you can get it from, but in the regular grocery store, it's not something you see. So,
of course, with a big dollop of jam, everything tastes great.
That's what I mean, so this is our bitter orange marmalade. Anything that I can put that on, it's great.
But it's lovely. I like the little
It's a pretty basic scone.
currants. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good scone recipe. If you like scones, give it a try. Now, of course, you were not there. My mom and I did the tour of England, and in September, her house in Buckingham Palace. She's not there, so they let you tour around. So I had some snacks in her yard. They weren't scones. They were just a little. I can't really remember. Except it had a little crown on the top.
A little crown on top. Mm-hmm. Someday, I'll have tea in Buckingham Palace. Maybe. Mm-hmm. Okay, so pretty basic scone recipe. I should have called Chef Higgins. So if you look back on our channel, way back on the channel, there's a video of Chef Higgins peeling a grapefruit. Mm-hmm. He's done some other ones, but the peeling the grapefruit is the one that springs to mind. He worked for the royal family cooking.
So he probably knows this recipe well.
Probably knows it backwards and forwards. So give it a try. You know, pretty good recipe, basic ingredients.
Clearly, I've already eaten my half,
Yeah.
so.
Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.